Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Shrine of Anubis. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back, and nice to see you again. Happy Valentine's Day, first of all, to all of you who celebrate out there, whether you're alone or with somebody. It doesn't matter. Get it on. Have fun with yourself. Do something that makes you feel uplifted and nourished and nurtured and all that good stuff. Although at this point, when I upload this video, it'll be over technically for many of you. So I said it in vain, but that's fine. However, today's video, I know you guys want me to get into the dirty stuff. Well, not dirty stuff, or the kinky stuff and things here and there with Anubis. It would have been perfect. It would have been aligned. However, things did not align properly for this week's video. Based on last week's video talking about God spouses and God spousery, there was a very interesting point in that video that I wanted to bring up to you today. From within that video, which is about imposters that mask themselves as the energy of someone that you are in touch with, whether a spirit, a deity, or somebody else, to pretend that they are them in order to get it on with you or to do something with you, whether it is to trick you, to fool you, to lie to you and deceive you so you back off from your connection with that spirit or deity or someone else. Something I want to address, which I know I will have to do, I'm not sure if I did this already in a past video, is about psychic protection, shielding, cleansing, and banning the bullshit, so to speak, from your etheric field. I'm not sure if I have addressed that so far in this channel. I know I have done it before in my Spiritual Alien podcast, which I have abandoned already for months. But I think it'll be good to share with you eventually, not in this video, but eventually, how to protect your energy and your field from the bullshit. We're talking about spirits and people in real life, in the physical world, energies, thoughts, feelings, emotions that can cause you harm or minor inconveniences in your life. However, for today's video, I want to talk about a similar-ish topic, which is in regards to imposter spirits. What does that imply? It implies exactly what it implies. Wow. Wow. English. But it's the best way that I can put it, that I can explain it to you. It's a spirit that simply masks themselves as somebody else to trick you into doing their will. If they can get away with it. Because some of you out there, I am very sure and confident that you know your shit. You know your craft. You know energy work. You know how to repel these energies and how to handle them with one hand on your waist type of thing. However, what about some of you who are just getting started here, right? Like, I'm new here. Hi, new, I'm dad. I'm kidding. No, never mind. No. I am new here. I don't know how to do this, how to distinguish this from that. What do I do? First of all, protect your mental space. What do I mean by this? Get away from people that feed you bullshit. It could be family members, friends, colleagues in the workplace, people online, accounts that you follow on the gram, on the Twitters, on the YouTubes, wherever it is. If it's not helping you, it's affecting you. And if it's affecting you, you don't need it. certain levels require cancellation for levitation. What does this mean? Levitation, as in lifting your energy, raising your frequency or your vibe, or levitating towards another level with other people that are of higher frequency that can align with you better. Does that make sense? And you can feel free to take notes down as well if you want to, either on your phone or written by hand if you're old school. So that's number one, auditing your surroundings and the people that you connect with or interact with. Maybe it's a one-way street if you follow certain influencers, but they're not really adding any value to your life. It might be a two-way thing where you interact with somebody, whether in person or online, and it's dragging you down more than it is helping you. So you may want to do an audit. Now that we're close, like about a month away from spring, this would be a perfect time for you as we transition from winter to spring, or summer to fall in the southern hemisphere, ? To audit your energy, your surroundings, the people that you come into contact with, because they can have a great influence on your mental space and influence your mental state as well. When you continuously interact with these type of people, what you do is you're lowering your frequency and your vibration. When this happens, you are exposing yourself to low vibrational beings that will start to get into your head space, into your mental space, so to speak, into your head as well. I want to make sure that you can hear me, because this microphone cancels out every single noise, and sometimes it cancels me out. So you have to make an audit. That would be the first key point here. Make an audit of the people that you surround yourself with or that you interact with online, whether it's a one-way thing like an influencer or a two-way street where the communication goes back and forth, and see whether it's benefiting you or not. They say that you are who you surround yourself with. So you want to make sure that the people that you surround yourself with are not making you suicidal or depressive or angry and bitter, jealous, envious, what have you. Because it can happen, and it has happened. It's just that many people are not aware of it. The second key point about this, energy leaks. When you fail to do this, first key point, what happens? You start to make a hole into your own auric field, right? So it goes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're wondering, why am I so this and that? Usually it's due to the surroundings that are influencing you, or the people in your surroundings that are influencing you, that are causing this to happen. Usually we self-blame a lot. We self-judge a lot. And usually sometimes that self-judgment, that inner judgment that we have, that inner self-hatred that you may have towards yourself, maybe that came from your mom. Maybe that came from your best friend. Maybe it came from somebody else close to you, that they kept repeating the same toxic words about themselves, that you started to believe that about yourself as well whenever you have a perceived failure in something that you do in your life. That's why you are the 5 people that you surround yourself with the closest. You may not notice it, but I have noticed it myself as well from my mother. My mother was very suicidal, and she still kind of is. And she can be very toxic towards herself. She's also lashed out at me in such a way that I have internalized her own words, her own attacks towards me. To the point that I have started to adapt those things and words and scenarios from her own head as my own stories, as my own reality. And so right now I am pinpointing those parts that are not mine, that do not belong to me, in order to deprogram from them. What happens on the second key point, if you don't audit the people around you, is that you're opening yourself up for parasitic energies to jump into that perforation in your auric field to suck on the life force out of you. I know you probably thought of something else. If you're into that, fine. But we're talking about energetic leaks and probable causes for it that could bring you spirit imposters to pretend that they are Anubis or another spirit in order to trick you and to further manipulate you into doing their will, which may not always be a good one. So the second key point in regards to this, it's the mind space, the mental space, the stories that you tell yourself based on the first key point of the people that you surround yourself with or that influence you in some way, and why you have to audit that part of you. The second key point is auditing your mental space. What are the stories that you're telling yourself? Take a note on this right now. What are the stories that you are telling yourself right now about yourself? What stories, second or third question at this point, what stories do other people around you tell themselves that you have internalized as your own? This could be, for example, my mother hates herself, so I hate myself because she's overweight. I am overweight, so I hate myself because I'm this and that. Now, I'm just giving you an example here. If it applies, feel free to jot it down. Audit your mental space is my second key point here. What stories are you telling yourself? And I want you to analyze, explain to yourself, why do you tell that story to yourself? Rationalize it, analyze it, expand on it, and you will see if it's valid or if it's dumb. If it's dumb, you will feel dumb. You will feel bad about yourself, maybe, like I have. That's okay. Do not observe yourself through the eyes of judgment, but through the eyes of curiosity. And I'm having chills right now. Leave your judgment aside because you already do that enough already. Observe the stories that you tell yourself and analyze, where did those stories come from? Sure, they may have come from your own head. That's why you're telling yourself that. However, everything has an origin, and usually that's from the people that you surround yourself with, which again brings me back to the first point, key point, I should say. Audit the people around you that you listen to, that you follow on social media, or that you interact with, and weigh them. This is not a pun, I swear to God, it's not a pun, but weigh your options, weigh everybody, and see which is heavier, the love or the fear. And then act accordingly to that and make the adjustments that you deem to be necessary. And then the second key point here, auditing your mental space and the stories that you tell yourself. Are those stories yours or do they come from somebody else? Who is it? Why do they tell that to themselves? And why have you adapted their story as your own? And why do you tell yourself that pre-programmed story that was not there before? Again, these two things go hand in hand. So when combined, some people have more than one point than the other. Some people have both points together. It creates this whole perforation in your auric field, which causes energy leaks. You might feel tired, exhausted, fatigued, lazy to do anything. And usually that's because something has attached itself to you. And this can manifest in the form of dreams or whichever way of interactions you have with your deities or spirits. And sometimes, and I'll give you an example, there would be times where Anubis would pop up in a dream and attempt to rape me. And in the beginning, I was so confused and so lost, and I felt so dirty to be taken so forcefully. And this was at the very beginning when I was not using psychic protection for the first 2 years of my spiritual awakening, which were also the first 2 years that I was starting to work with him. It was not him. But at the time, I did not consider that myself. I didn't feel good enough to be targeted by entities from like another dimension or what have you, because I didn't feel good enough for anything on the first place, which was and still is what Anubis wants me to learn in almost 11 years. Self-worth. At the time, I didn't consider myself even worthy to be attacked by entities or psychic energy from other people. So I didn't consider that. I didn't use psychic protection because I didn't believe in it, because I didn't think that I was worthy enough to be attacked. Guess who almost got her ankle sprained with her own desk at the time? Because an entity pushed my chair forward while I was working on the computer on the desk. My foot got pinned and the chair was pushed around so that I would harm my ankle. And when I was trying to pull myself back, I couldn't, because the energy was there and it was keeping me in place. And that's when I started to believe that psychic attacks were real and that I was being targeted. But going back to the Anubis incident, I did not know how to read energy because I blocked myself out from doing so, because again, I did not think I was worthy to learn all these complex things and philosophical things that were available to me at the time. So because I consider myself unworthy, it was a pre-programmed pattern that I had based on the people around me, usually my family, and of course, psychic vampires among the New Age community that would lash out at me for being above them, quote unquote. So because of this, I kept telling myself these things to block myself because I didn't want to be rejected by other people because self-worth issues. So do you see how things get complicated very quickly over pre-programmed patterns and stories that you tell yourself? So this is why I wanted to bring you these 2 key points here, because I believe that they are part of the cause of these spirit imposters that attach themselves to you and pretend to be something or someone that they're not. I feel that I just dumped a lot of information at you right now again, and I want to apologize for that. But first of all, that was not the intention of this video. And second, it's the second time or so that this happens. So I'm just going with the flow and just sharing from my heart to yours. My personal perspectives, unverified personal gnosis, UPG, with you. But I want to see, because my mind just went blank. So usually I take that as a sign that I shared what I had to share. But to elaborate more on the second key point about your mental space and auditing your mental space and questioning yourself and the stories that you tell yourself. What do these 2 key points have to do anyways with psychic imposters, spirit imposters, and a fake Anubis trying to get it on with me, but it's not Anubis? Like what? Like, I know, I understand. However, However, like I mentioned, both go hand in hand. Some people may struggle more with one key point or the second one or both. It doesn't matter. Your experience is still valid. So I wanted to bring these two key points to you today, which I did not even know either. But they just flowed out of me because now that I think about it, I do see where Anubis is taking me to with these two key points. And we are social creatures. We are highly influenced by those around us. Of course, you might dislike socializing as much as I do. However, we are still social creatures. So because of this, we tend to do things in order to fit in, right? So because of this, we might dim our light to fit in with other people that attack us for shining brighter than them. And this may have happened to you at school, high school, somewhere else. I can talk about my experience though, which I have done this before, even in the New Age community as a baby witch in 2010 to 12. I would dim myself too much and too often because some people, well, just one person in particular that I seeked validation from would shoot me down for if I was learning faster than him or doing things quote unquote better than him. He would lash out at me, so I would dim myself and just close off to not make him feel bad because I wanted to be his friend. I wanted his validation. It didn't work. And Santa Muerte actually had to intervene briefly to warn me about him so that I would back the fuck off. After that, she disappeared in 2013. 2-3 interactions with her during one whole year, and that's it. Because apparently I was not listening to Anubis. So because of that, I had to have her intervene and let me know, like, this is happening. Let me show you this. Get away. Fuck off. And I'm like, okay. And eventually I did. Of course, she was way more gentle than that, but that was my impression at first because she was very, very sharp and in your face and very abrupt. Just like Anubis. However, that was my first impression of her. Anubis was more gentler in the beginning. That's what she said. God damn. Anyways, to follow up with the second key point. How do you know when you're confronting a psychic imposter? Well, psychic implies some sort of humanity. We're not talking about humans. We're talking about spirits. How do you know that a spirit is an imposter? How do you know that Anubis that you're seeing, interacting with, how do you know Anubis is Anubis? How do you know that he is not Seth or another spirit masking themselves as him? This is where intuition, this is why I've been anal, question mark, about you tuning into your intuition, using your intuition, exercising it, practicing it, following the signs of your body. When you know your body, not only does that mean that you are grounded in yourself, in your own energy, in your own vessel, in your own jar, but when you know yourself in such a profound way, such a grounded way, you immediately know when something is off or not. How I know that I am confronting a spirit imposter is that the energy feels off. I feel constricted. I feel fearful. I feel restricted. I feel intimidated. And I feel this air of sinister energy going on. Like those tiny little unperceived smirks and grins and gaze. At least, because my interactions are very clairvoyant based. I do see in a lot of detail, despite being half blind, born without my left eye, but having an ocular prosthesis now. Despite being half blind, I see clairvoyantly a lot of details. What I have struggles with is my psychic senses in the sense of hearing. So when it comes, which is funny because when you're half blind or fully blind, your senses are amplified. The rest of your senses are amplified. In my case, in real life, my hearing is amplified, but when it comes to my psychic hearing, I still have issues. Usually I can hear from one ear, and usually it would be the right ear. So you might perceive it in a different way. Maybe you will perceive it in the tone of voice if your psychic hearing is developed. Maybe not so much the appearance. Maybe the appearance is very angelic and very beautiful and very bright. But you hear it psychically. You know that there is something sinister in the tone of voice. If your psychic sight or hearing are not developed, you might perceive it in your body. You might perceive chills, constriction, suffocation. Maybe you're feeling drained when you're confronted by this spirit. Maybe you feel like running away or defensive as well. So these are some of the things that you can tell when the spirit that you're interacting with is not a good one, who does not have your best interest in their mind. I am sure, however, that there are other ways that you can detect how to spot a spirit imposter. If you are unfamiliar with how to read energy, I highly suggest that you do energy work, intuition work. There are meditation practices for free on YouTube that you can find to train your psychic senses. But something that helped me a lot was to work with crystals. I used amethyst because I wanted to develop my clairvoyance. And I would meditate with a small tumble piece on my forehead. I would lie down, put a crystal over my forehead, and meditate with it and focus my energy into my third eye chakra, the Anya chakra, with the amethyst crystal. If you want to work with other psychic senses, you can feel free to do so. However, I would not suggest you to do all at once. Focus on one at a time. Focus on the one that you feel you're good at, not the one that you want. Focus on the one that you feel you're good at, because that's the thing. I used to be an astral traveler as a kid. I used to see spirits as a kid, a lot in my dreams. So because of this, I focused on clairvoyance. So focus on the one that you feel you're better at. And then eventually, along the years, you might feel free to move on to other psychic senses that you may be interested in developing. In the meantime, though, focus on the one that you're good at and attempt to develop it with practices that you can find for free online or with your own crystals if you have them. If you do not have an amethyst crystal, however, worry not. Simply meditate with the visualization of purple light in your mind's eye. How can you get rid of a spirit imposter? Call them out. Oh, you're not Anubis. You're a parasite. You're an imposter. You have no place or room here with me. I banish you in the name of, whether you're a Satanist, you don't believe in a spirit or anybody else, call upon yourself, your higher self. If you do believe in some sort of energy or work with entities, call upon them, upon your guides, spirit guides, whoever it is that you work with, call upon them for assistance and they will flee. You're showing your inner power to that imposter, that they cannot control you or manipulate you or use and abuse you. I am very confrontational. Sometimes they attempt to attack me by draining my energy through intimidation. But because I have grown used to it after 10 years, what I do, and this is funny, but what I do is that I scream at them in the astral state. When I scream, what I'm doing is I am shattering the low vibrational energy through sound. And this is why many people use sound healing to cleanse a space or a person, to shatter away the low vibrational energy. And they have no other option or choice but to submit and leave. And this is my recommendation to you as well, for you to try out. However, because this video is super long, I'll end it on this note. If you guys want me to elaborate more on any of the key points that I made within this video, let me know down below in the comments section. I am very excited to see what you think and if you have something else to add as well. How do you perceive and detect spirit imposters? Let me know down below in the comments section. Before I let you go, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, click on the bell button, and click on see all so that you can get all the notifications of any future uploads that I'll be making on this channel. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.